Hello, I'm Colin Sullivan.
And I'm Pepper Raper.
And this is Almost Live, a weekly show designed to give you the who's who and what's what of Telluride and Mountain Village. On this week's show, we're going to be joining Catherine Warren again for her Warren Commission on our local music and entertainment scene. Then we're going to be talking to Sarah Landernew from the Wilkinson Public Library. And then over to Dr. Paul Hokemeyer, addictions and relationship therapist, who is also the star of Telluride TV's PSYOP series.
We'll take a look at profile pieces for eco-action partners in the Village Table, and Patrick Legans, the wine geek food freak, will teach us how to make a perfect Caesar salad.
Then we're going to see a retro ride with Roudebush, Telluride's favorite cowboy. If you want to see a little bit more with Roudy, check out my interview with him. All you have to do is go on Telluride TV's YouTube channel.
We'll also be seeing another episode of Telluride Trails, this time with a guided tour of the Via Ferrata that's sure to get your heart pounding. We'll also give you a chance to practice Sun Salutation A with everyone's favorite local yogi, Barbara Glansing. Now let's join Colin and Catherine for another episode of the Warren Commission.
And here we are in the historic Sheridan Opera House with Miss Catherine Warren.
Hi, Colin. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm really excited to hear about news and events.
Yes.
Or entertainment, shall I say.
It's another entertaining week here in Telluride. We've got the Ride Festival, and they kick things off Friday with a free show in Mountain Village at the Sunset Concert Plaza area, right outside the Telluride TV studios, in fact. And this year they have Matthew Curry playing, and he starts at about 5:30. That show's free, and then on Saturday and Sunday, Town Park turns over to the ride. And headliners include String Cheese Incident, Sheryl Crow, Big Something, Chris Robinson Brotherhood, Joe Russo's Almost Dead. But I am really excited for a few smaller bands that are playing at the beginning of the day.
See?
It's my favorite game.
Always Catherine Warren with the game.
Yeah.
These are the bands you got to look.
So there's Danny Harrison, son of George Harrison. You may be familiar with his work through the Beatles.
No.
Yeah. So Danny Harrison is on the lineup, as well as Larkin Poe, a fabulous two, I believe they're sisters. They are descendants of Edgar Allan Poe, and they are rockin' chicks. They're great.
I feel like both of those things are me like going to be geeking out, like just on the fact that I'm near a descendant of George Harrison or Edgar Allan Poe. Wow.
And they're rocking out on stage.
Okay.
In addition to their lineage.
Nice.
So there's still passes available at ridefestival.com, and there's also a great lineup of night ride shows happening, and there's 3 venues, I believe, that are free in the evening time for pass holders, and that's the Moon at O'Bannon's, the Liberty, Wood Ear, the new venue in Ramen Place, and then there's also shows happening at the Opera House. However, that is a separate ticketed event. So we could be here for hours going over all the bands playing at Night Ride.
You probably should just go on ridefestival.com and just check them out.
Go online, check it out. It's going to be super, super fun. And then on Sunday night, the Liberty has a really fun band, Frogs Gone Fishing. They're sort of New Orleans meets jam rock, just super high energy, fun band, perfect for Telluride on a Sunday night. And then on Tuesday at the Show Bar in the first floor of the Sheridan Opera House, we have Will Kimbrough. We interviewed his good friend, I interviewed his good friend, Emily Scott Robinson, in last week's episode.
Yes.
This is part of our Show Bar series. He's a fabulous Americana singer-songwriter, also producer. He helped Emily with her forthcoming album, Traveling Mercies, and he plays at the Show Bar at 7 p.m. And then Tuesday's a great night of music, actually. Head to the Liberty after that for Quinn DeVoe. He's a soul dance R&B artist playing at the Liberty at 8 p.m. A little surprise Tuesday gig.
He's got a good name.
Yeah.
He's got a soulful name.
Yeah.
I'll go see him.
Yeah, I had to really think about the pronunciation of his last
Sure.
name. And then Wednesday night, we've got Allie Venable Band, a blues band at the Sunset Concert Series in the Mountain Village Sunset Plaza at 6 p.m.
Still rolling right along here in July.
Yeah.
Still a ton of stuff going on.
Yep.
And if we wanted to say, read about any of those tiny little tidbits that you're constantly giving us on this show, where would we do that?
You might find it in my column in the Watch newspaper. I haven't written this week's column yet, so we'll see what tidbits make it into the paper. But it comes out every Thursday in the Watch.
Nice. Thanks a lot for being here, Catherine.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's head over to Patrick Legans, the wine geek food freak, who's going to make a fabulous Caesar salad for us.
Hi, I'm the Wine Geek Food Freak, Patrick Legans. Today I'm going to show you how to make a real deal Caesar salad. We're going to start off, I got 2 cloves of garlic chopped up for you, small dice. I'm then going to take a couple eggs. I used to do 1 egg yolk per person. And once you hit about 4 or 5 people, you start dropping it back just a bit. So I got my garlic, I got that. I put a little olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is always the way to go. Some Parmesan cheese, some lemon. You can't never tell how many lemons because each lemon tastes different, so you just gotta taste it. All right. Then I'm just gonna hit this up with my whisk. A couple of anchovies in here. Usually always 1 anchovy per person too. I learned this in Naples, Italy from a good friend of mine, Antonio Race. Put a pinch of salt. You gotta watch the salt content a little bit because anchovies are typically pretty salty, so don't go too crazy. All right, I got some romaine lettuce. I like to cut them like a thumb width apart. Just seems like the right amount to me. Mix it up. I mix it up by hand. Alrighty. And just like that, we have a beautiful Caesar salad. I made these croutons. I just took some old bread and did some lemon, oil, and salt. And then sprinkle a little bit of extra cheese right on top. And there you go, Caesar salad. Until next time, remember all you need is good ingredients, some care, and a minute of your time, and you can eat like me, Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak.
Hi, I'm Heather Knox. I'm the Executive Director of EcoAction Partners. EcoAction Partners focuses primarily on energy and waste reduction. We work with San Miguel Power Association to promote their rebates and other programs to incentivize local businesses and residents to make energy efficiency improvements on their homes and businesses.
I'm Jake Neese, and I'm the coordinator for the SMPA Income Qualified Weatherization Program. This program provides funding for efficiency improvements for low and middle income residents in our region. What this means is we do an assessment to find the energy leaks in your house and fix them, all at no charge to you. It's funded by San Miguel Power Association, Black Hills Gas, and Energy Outreach Colorado, and covers the SMPA service area. Some of the measures covered include changing all your bulbs to LEDs, a new Energy Star refrigerator, furnace and boiler service or replacement, attic, wall, and crawl space insulation, among others. Visit the EcoAction Partners website and look up the IQ Weatherization Program for more information and to apply.
And we're back here with Sarah Landrieu, the Executive Director of the Wilkinson Public Library.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So there's a lot to talk about with the library, but first I want to talk a little bit about you.
Oh.
Which is to say, we ask all of our guests this question: how did you come to Telluride? How did you get here? What's your sort of Telluride story?
Right. Well, actually, my story's a little bit different maybe than others. I came in 2007 with my family. I've got a son who's going to be a senior this year in high school, and my husband, Chris. And we actually found Telluride by running the Imogene Pass race. We were avid runners. I'd run a bunch of road marathons and things like that in Denver, and saw like a brochure for it and thought,
And you were like, I would like to run up
I
over
want to do that.
a 12,000-foot mountain.
Came here, we did that. Well, he did it first because I was still pushing the baby, and we didn't think that that would be appropriate to push the baby over
It's
the
not
top.
great. It's not great. You have
But,
a special baby carriage. for
And
that.
so then we just fell in love with the town, and as things happen, I got a job here as a reference librarian in 2007 and been here since.
And what's the path to becoming a librarian? Because now I have a bunch of librarian friends now that I live in this town.
Yeah.
And I actually was in. You guys have a 5-star library, right?
We do.
Is that
Yes.
right? So that's
Yes.
like the highest distinction that you can have, right? And so we actually I ended up going back to my hometown a little while ago. And we now have a 5-star library
Really?
as well, but it took a while sort of
Okay.
to get there, I think.
Okay.
What's the distinction to becoming a librarian, and how do you get to that 5-star rating?
Well, I worked in the library as a student in college, and so I was studying journalism at the time, which there actually is a really big connection there between journalism and librarianship. It's all about information, access to information, kind of that, building civil society, all that kind of stuff. But I really, really enjoyed working at the library, and I thought the people there were kind of cool. And I was like, oh, this is neat. And so I just went right to library school right after being an undergrad, which is a little bit uncommon. A lot of people fall back to librarianship because they go try something else, and they're like, I really like the library the best, so I'm going to go do that. So you go and you get your library degree, and then there's a library in every town. So, the possibilities are endless, but you can do academic library. I've done them all. I worked at University of Denver first, and then I worked at the Rocky Mountain News as a news librarian back when they had a newspaper and they had a library.
Nice.
And that was awesome, and that was great because I got to mix both journalism and newspaper.
But this library,
And then
you liked
this
the best.
library saw the ad for this one and was like, oh my God, dream job.
And now why?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess getting
Yeah.
into, I know why, because I have a 2-year-old. So,
Yes.
And you guys have one of the best kids
17-year-old.
sections I could ever.
Yeah.
And you have a 17-year-old,
Yep.
so you
Yeah.
have that whole. So there are two sort of the entire bottom floor, almost the entire bottom floor, is that kids section.
Yes.
So how did you go about? Because that is a premier part of the library, I think. for
That
people.
is an amazing, amazing part of what makes the Wilkinson Public Library so special, is that kids area. And, we'll hear day after day from visitors or just our locals that just love that section of the library. They come in, why can't I have this at home when they're visiting from somewhere else? I'm like, well, you can. You just got to go be active with your public library. But, it really comes down to the people that work at the library just really care. I mean, they just really want to make a difference in people's lives. And so they bring that to them when they're at work every day. They're like, how can I just do a good job and make sure everybody's happy? And,
So-
that's kind of the spirit that you feel when you're there. And then, just the space is amazing.
So talk
Yeah.
to me about some of the programs, because in the kids space is incredible. You can
Yes.
go in there, you
Yep.
can see, and you also have several rooms which are like available for rent,
Yes.
but not really rent, just
Right, right.
reservation,
Yes.
per se.
Yeah.
And then there's programs that you have, like there's a program room in the front, which is constantly running programs.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, a little bit more uncanny than the libraries that we all grew up with.
It is, and libraries nowadays are becoming more of a community space. It's more about that shared space, that ability to come together, do your work, have that place where you can be and get something done. And that's kind of the trend that we're seeing in libraries across the nation. So last summer we completed the renovations to create all the meeting rooms upstairs. Made them a lot more soundproof, a lot more welcoming. The Wi-Fi is pretty excellent. So people come in, they can get their work done and leave, and that's how they use the library.
It's my wife's office.
Yes.
We have an office. She does not use the office.
No,
she
it's
uses
too
your
hard
meetings
to
room.
work at
Yeah,
home because then
exactly.
you get distracted. You do the laundry, you do the
But
dishes.
then you have programs that are constantly running too. So when you
Yes.
walk by that program room, it's almost never.
The program room is
What's
always
going on in
booked.
there?
Well, in the mornings there's fitness. And so fitness is yoga, or on I think it's Tuesdays and Saturdays there's Zumba and Pound and exercise classes that are free. And that's really serving a segment. We're just reflecting the community. That's what they want. They're like, what do you want? I want to do yoga. I want to do Zumba. And then we'll have different groups will have their meetings in there, or they'll do a presentation, or we'll have an author. We'll use that room for author visits or slideshows. Craig Childs, just recently. So lots of really fun events are going on in there. But trying to get that room booked is the hardest part. So,
It is.
Yeah.
It
So
is tough.
just a word to the wise: if you know you have a meeting, you want to use it, book it early.
And then you have some. There you go. Book it early, guys. And you can book right on the website,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
And everything
yeah.
is now automated and everything. But you can still go in
we
like a normal
tried.
library.
Yes.
And you have that
Yeah.
sheet right there. You
Yes,
know, that
a
you have that
traditional
that full
library, yeah.
thing you could put on your fridge and everything.
Yep.
So I guess there's a couple things, but one is that the library is now paid off.
The facility is.
The facility is now
Yeah.
paid off.
Yeah.
And when the library originally was voted on
Yes.
in terms of a
I
taxing
know.
thing, what ended up happening there?
It
For
passed,
those of us who don't know,
it passed by one vote.
by one vote.
And they had to do a recount, so I think it ended up passing by 2 because they found one in there that was
Yeah.
the wrong way.
Nice.
So, and that gave us the ability to tax the district to pay for the construction of the facility that we're now in, and that we just renovated, and we're going to be there for many, 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 many years to come, and it's really a treasure, and we're just really fortunate that that group got together 20 years ago and had that vision to we're going to build this, and they were like, that's too big, oh, you're not going to be able to use that much space, and now we're just like, we use every inch of that space.
I think you absolutely do
Yeah.
use every inch of that space. I would encourage anybody who hasn't, because it's a library, so sometimes we're a little bit reticent to go, oh, it's a library. But
Right.
every time people walk in there,
Yeah.
they go, man, this is
Wow.
amazing. And I've actually heard people several times, because this is a thing that's said in this town for people who are visiting.
Yes.
Sometimes
I know.
we end
They
up here,
say,
right?
go visit the
Yeah,
library.
they go visit the library, which I think is
Yeah,
an
I know.
incredible
It is.
thing. And I guess that's why you guys are 5-star, right?
It's super awesome. Yeah, we get a lot of support. Our locals come in, and part of the feeling is knowing people by name and being able to have that conversation, help people find what they need. And then we've, during the summer especially, the kids area is just crazy busy. Tourists come in. As soon as it starts raining, everybody runs over to the kids area, and activities galore.
If we were to support the library
Yeah.
individually, how would we go about doing that?
You would come in and you would check out about this many books and movies and audiobooks, or you'd go online and you'd use your library card and just use the resources that we have, that we're already providing, attend the programs, that kind of thing. That's how we feel support is by the use, is people using the library, attending the programs, reading books is good.
There you go.
Reading
Reading books is good.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you can check it out, a paper copy, or get a digital copy online.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to us, but just read.
ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
Sarah Landau. You could find her any day at the Wilkinson Public Library. You should be in there anyway, checking it out.
Right.
So you're accessible. If we see you, we can
Right.
ask you to sign autographs and things like that now that you've been
Sure,
on TV.
sure. Now that I've been on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
yeah.
a lot
All
for
right,
being
thank
here,
you,
Sarah.
Colin. Yeah.
And I'll see you
Thank
down at the library.
Okay.
All right, let's head over to one of our favorite restaurants in Mountain Village now, the Village Table.
Hi, my name is Johnny Girona. I'm the owner-operator of the Village Table Restaurant. It's Mediterranean-inspired food with a lot of Spanish influences. We're open for dinner 6 days a week in the summer, 7 in the winter. Dinner service can be very casual, where you come in and have a tapas or two at the bar, or you can sit down and have a 2 to 3 hour dining experience with a couple tapas and a salad and entrees and a dessert. Our wine list is about 100 to 120 bottles, and we have a great sangria, red and white. The paella is our signature dish, I'd say, and then the trout, which is one of the best dishes that you can have anywhere, I think. It's family friendly, and we have super guitar player that plays a couple times a week. I'm excited for you to join our family and have a great experience at the Village Table Restaurant.
Thanks a lot to the Village Table. Get on up there to Mountain Village and check them out. It's great food.
Yeah, I love the Village Table. Telluride TV works with a variety of local businesses, including restaurants, nonprofits, and other community organizations. If you'd like a profile piece, please get in touch with us. It's part of our mission to work with all the organizations in the community.
Speaking of our mission, Telluride TV is a public access channel, and it depends on public support. So we want to give a shout out to a few of our most generous supporters, the towns of Telluride and Mountain Village, the Telluride Ski and Golf Company, and the Telluride Foundation.
Now let's go to a retro ride with Roudy. followed by a new episode of Telluride Trails with a heart-pounding tour of the Via Ferrata.
Easy now. I'll staple that hat to your head and you can't keep it on. Thought that thoroughbred horse would be in trouble, but it will be in proximity to me. That means kind of close to me. It's from the Latin. You take Latin, don't you? My name is Thomas Roudebush, but many people call me Sir. Anyway, my name is Roudy, but that's R-O-U-D-Y. Well, we're at my place on the West Meadows of the Adams Ranch in Telluride, Colorado. We'll move down. But yes, I'm kind of the last cowboy around Telluride. The others just passed through. That's good, girls. Easy now. Come on, cow. So what I told you was, I want the horse calmed down, not fired up.
It's kind of difficult to work for. Like, scream and yell a lot, lecture, you know, he teaches with sarcasm. Besides that, you know, he's got his good days and his bad. Yeah, I've been fired twice already.
I came here in April and asked Roudy, didn't need any help. His only one question was, you don't cry easy, do you?
The Oxford Dictionary's definition of job. It's a piece of work, taken on for a specified amount of time for a given amount of money. I'm very clear about this with staff, but they seem to have faulty memories often, and much as I hide it, I really enjoy harassing these young people every day of their lives. What you're doing is the opposite of what I asked you to do. This does not surprise me.
What have I done for Roudy today, or better, what have I done for Roudy in the past few seconds? All day long, think that, nonstop. He's good with the horses, though, and he loves us all. He's just not sure how to say it all the time.
You get a horse that trusts you, and you have a wonderful thing, a lifelong relationship that isn't going to let you down and go away sometime. These mountains are an inspiration to me on a daily basis. You feel deep roots when you live on the Continental Divide for 30 years. It's the backbone of the world, and maybe it makes me stronger just looking at it. As I get older, I have more questions, but I don't care so much about the answers. It's more the matter of the pondering is what I enjoy. These are wild animals, these elk, and it's taken me 16 years to get them to trust me, not much, but enough that I can ride up to them on horses, which they're not as fearful of, and so they don't run away. Whenever I start to scare them, I turn my side to them, so I'm a prey animal too. And then they look at me and go, oh, he's just that guy that talks all the time. It's nothing scary about old Roudy. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with kids today, but they should emulate me. I'm a shining example of how kids should end happy.
I think people are wild when they come to Telluride, and I think that's what makes Telluride wild. Definitely, there's a lot of colorful folk here.
There's an old limerick that I found on a 1904 edition of the Telluride paper that how Telluride got its name. It goes like this: there was a cowboy drunk on the barroom floor. Having drunk so much whiskey he could drink no more, he went to sleep with a troubled brain and dreamed he rode the hell-bound train. The devil himself was the engineer, the boiler was filled with lager beer. He himself was shoveling bones, and all through the train you could hear the groans of black men, yellow men, white, all chained together. My God, what a sight. And all the time the devil walking up and down the aisle screaming, "To hell you ride!" We like each other. There aren't many of us, so we know each other well for many years, and we're a mutual admiration society. Recently, someone said, "What's new in your life?" And I was unable not to say, "Well, hell, I'm sober." So that's a new thing for me, and interesting work, sobriety. I certainly gave alcohol every chance to be the right way to go. Cindy girl, there you go. In Wisconsin, where I was raised, no one mentioned that if you drank a case of beer every day for 30 years, it would become addicting.
There's water in that. I can still be a big tipper. I'm always telling her that even though there's no alcohol in these glasses, I still want them, a lot of them. As long as I can exercise my arm.
He's going to be in the bars forever.
I'd love to have a drink.
Coming in here to see his old friends, whether he drinks or not, makes no difference.
The thing I cherish most in my life is my freedom. And that was probably the reason I quit the alcohol, is to have more freedom, and that's what I got. A whole lot more freedom than I used to have. The mystery and the wonderful history of Telluride was, it's a great place to have a party, and which has been going on, to my knowledge, in this bar for 30 years. I'd love to have a drink. There's so many rules. That's what people bring here. More than anything is more rules. God, I'd have less rules. We've experienced being free and unfettered human beings here because there aren't many people and there isn't much government. And so it's hard to have your freedoms even infringed a little bit. Cherish your freedom.
Hi, I'm Heidi.
And I'm Todd.
And this
is Telluride Trails.
Today we're going to go up on the Via Ferrata. Telluride's Via Ferrata traverses approximately 1.5 miles, and Via Ferrata is Italian for Iron Way.
If you drive and start at the beginning of the route, the entire route will take about 2.5 to 3 hours to traverse. At minimum, it's important that everybody wear a helmet. There's a significant rockfall hazard. Helmet will help mitigate that risk. It's important to have a harness and a load limiting lanyard, something that will disperse the force of a fall onto the cables. Perhaps the most important piece of equipment to have in the Via Ferrata is the right choice of footwear. You want to have good traction because the edge of the cliff band could well be a foot or two off to your side.
We recommend traversing the route from east to west, and when you do it in that manner, you'll start out on a pretty good trail, and you'll walk along for a while, and then you'll reach the first cables on the route, and that's where it's really important to have the right gear. And as you keep traversing from east to west, you start to encounter iron rungs, and it gets a little bit more intricate.
What we're doing now is we're overriding the amygdala. It's that little most ancient part of our reptilian brain that's in charge of fight or flight. And it's freaking out. It's saying, what? So one of the things the amygdala wants us to do is to like grab onto the earth and lean away from scary things. When we lean away from the edge here, we can cause our feet to slide out. So we're always best to stand upright. That's what a hand to the right can kind of keep you upright, keep your weight over your feet, improve your traction.
About a half mile into the route, you encounter the main event, which is really cool. It's a little bit scary, but awesome.
And the main event is about 100 feet long. It's a traverse. As soon as you turn the corner and step out to the first rung, you have about 300 feet of air under your heels. It's super exciting. It's a wild, unnatural place for humans to be. And thanks to the Via Ferrata, we can get up there and have our minds blown.
That's so cool. Yeah, it definitely takes your breath away.
At the end of the route, we descend a 3/4 mile trail that comes down along the Marshall Creek drainage. Now, it's really important to stay on the trail because the land surrounding it is all privately owned.
Todd, thank you so much for taking us on the Via Ferrata. It was an incredible experience, a really unique thing.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come join us, and thanks for all you and the Telluride Mountain Club does for trail sustainability throughout the Telluride region.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Heidi.
And I'm Todd.
And we'll
see you on the trails.
All right, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed those two segments. They're very cool. I am happy to have Dr. Paul Hokemeyer here in the studio with us. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Just to give us a quick background about yourself, tell us how you ended up here in Telluride and what all you do and specialize in.
Well, I ended up here around 20 years ago. This is, I think, my 20th summer here. I was living in Amsterdam when I first discovered Telluride. I came here with my husband, Jim Johnson, and of course fell in love with the town and the people in it. And I'm a psychologist. I'm a family therapist, licensed as a family therapist. So I work in the realm of addictive disorders and relational disorders. And in this world that we live in, there are no shortage of things to get addicted to.
Well, certainly not. So let's talk about the current media obsession. You know, is it healthy? Is it unhealthy?
Yes, it's unhealthy and it's unhealthy. It's healthy and it's unhealthy. It's like anything in life. There isn't just one way. There's a duality, and so it depends on how you use it. Are you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on social media both personally and for work too.
And what do you think? How has it impacted you?
I feel like I've kind of gone through it as a roller coaster where like there's times when I'm really loving it and sometimes I just can't stand it.
Right. So there are basically three key points that I want to make. So it depends on how you use it. So we know empirically that extroverts use it differently than introverts. So if you're an extrovert, which I suspect you are, you use it in a compensatory way. So you use it to enhance the current relationships that you have. If you're an introvert, you use it in a compensatory way to kind of connect with people who you wouldn't normally connect with. So in those regards, it's actually a healthy thing. And we are social creatures. Human beings are social creatures. The nature of social media is that it tends to be egocentric. Meaning that it's really, we are part of a community, but it's very much about us and how we present to the world. And
look what I'm doing.
Look what I'm doing, looking how fabulous. It's a very tailored presentation of the self.
Who's using it the most?
15 to 25-year-olds. I always thought that it was what they call the silver surfers, which were like middle-aged women or women who were 45 to 65. But actually the data shows that it's 15 to 25. And it's important to look at that demographic because it's essentially adolescence. And so
which is a tough enough time as it is.
Right, exactly. And so in adolescence, we're learning how to navigate social interactions. And so that's why it's being used in that way.
How do you see it affecting body imagery, and especially with adolescents and the younger people and how they see themselves or how they present themselves as well, because it's kind of both sides of that.
Exactly. So there has been data that shows that it does have a negative impact on a person's sense of well-being. So that on the one hand, we think that we feel better I feel great sitting next to you, right? I have a shot of dopamine, I'm like connected, Pepper's great, I feel good. And that can happen in social media, but social media doesn't present the fullness of our experience, right? So like I talked to you right before we went on camera and got to sort of see the real you, right? Not this veneer of how you present on camera, which is quite gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, I think we need to give a shout out. So it's basically that. So social media just presents this veneer. It's this very surface level of connection.
Is there a bigger scheme that we should be looking at as far as having social media in our daily lives? How should we go about managing it?
Yeah, I think it's important to manage. That's the key word. And so it's important. It's like a car, right? So we can get in our car, we can travel around, we can see great places, and we can get from A to B. But we don't want to be in our car all day. We don't want to be giving our kids our cars all day and letting them drive around all day. So it needs to be managed in a way, and I think it's important to have expectations about the dark side of social media, that there is a dark side, and being aware that it isn't an accurate representation of the human experience, which is very rich, very nuanced, and it's light and it's dark.
Yeah. Do you work a lot with your patients and managing their social media? Is that something that comes up? Do you have recommendations for them?
You can't ignore it. So I can't tell you the number of times that my patients come into my office and they say, "You're not going to believe what she said," and they pull out their phone and they, it becomes this other entity in the room, in the psychotherapeutic relationship. So at first I thought maybe I should pretend this doesn't exist and like ban it, but that's not real. That's not reality. And so the goal of therapy is to deal with the truth.
Especially if it's something that's so present. I feel like most people wake up, look at their phone, go to bed, set their alarm on their phone. The phone is so much more than just a phone nowadays, obviously, that it's hard to put it down because you end up needing it for something else.
Exactly. One of the interventions that I did that I thought was rather genius, the client thought it was a little strange, but I had a client who was saying that he couldn't really get anything done, that in fact he was having serious relationship problems, and so he used his phone to set his alarm, so the minute that he would wake up he would be on his phone. And I introduced the novel concept of like
an alarm
clock. Right, exactly. Do you want to come work with me? We can sort of double think. And so it's sort of having that, so that he's not, the first connection that he has in the morning is not with the device, it's with his girlfriend.
Are you seeing an increase in the problems with social media, or do you feel like it's leveled off at all?
I think it's leveling off. I think that there's been a social kickback in terms of, people had this fantasy about what Mark Zuckerberg was, that somehow that he was this god. He's a businessman. He has a public company and his obligation is to his shareholders to generate revenue. So I think that we had this fantasy about who Mark Zuckerberg was. He's mining the data that we're putting out there. And so I think that that's part of the awareness in terms of realizing that he's not Mother Teresa. He's not a saint who's going to save the world. And being very mindful about how you present yourself and what you put out there.
How do you see it affecting families as far as, nowadays so many parents are on Facebook and kids are straying away from it and going to other channels? Do you even see parents who are like, you need to stop looking at your kid's profile, that's invasion of their privacy, or other elements like that?
Well, it causes huge relational problems, jealousy is huge, right? People looking at their partner's Facebook feed and feeling inadequate, feeling not appreciated, feeling like their partner is out doing something that they don't know about. So it's a profoundly powerful tool that we've introduced into our society and our culture, and we need to use it mindfully. We also need to remember that it's not the devil per se, that when people started writing things down, Plato and Socrates said, "Oh my God, it's the end of civilization." there goes our minds. So it's,
if they could see us now.
Plato and Socrates would be rolling in their grave. That it's a technology that we just need to use very mindfully and respectfully, and use it to build human connection. I think as a society and as a culture and a world, we're suffering from a huge, we have the uses versus them. We're become a very divided society and culture.
And polarization too with everything. And it comes out obviously a lot on social media too, politics or personal ideas, and sometimes it's just good to take a step back.
It is. During the election, there's a lot of, and still, around political issues, there's a lot of venom that's flying around, and
So what are your top 3 recommendations with dealing with devices, social media, even families, and watching your kids on it or anything?
I would say look at it as an energetic. So it's like electricity. So there's power to do extraordinary good, but there's also the power to be destructive. And as you said, manage your use, and don't allow it to be a substitute for this kind of human connection. And the sharing of dopamine and oxytocin, which are endogenous endogenous opioids, which make us feel good, but use it to enhance those relationships and to enable us to be connected in a meaningful way in the world.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Those
Thank you.
tips are great. We appreciate you coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Now let's join Barbara Glanzing and practice Sun Salutation A.
Hello and welcome to this mini yoga series in beautiful Telluride, Colorado. My name is Barbara Glansnick and today we will be looking at Surya Namaskara A or Sun Salutations A. This mini series is really designed to provide you with some easy stretches that you can do throughout the day, especially when you don't have a lot of time. As always, please focus on the breath. So throughout every practice we're going to try and inhale and exhale through the nose only. And I also want you to really move with care. So honor where you are today and acknowledge and listen to your body. All right, let's get cracking. So come to the front of the mat into Samastitihi, equal standing posture. Big toes touch, legs are strong, do a little shoulder roll. Gaze towards the front of the tip of the nose. On your next inhale, reach your arms up, palms touch. Exhale, fold forward, place your hands on either side of your feet. Always bend the knees if you have to. Inhale, look up to lengthen. On your next exhale, I want you to bunny hop your way back into a high plank. Exhale, just bend the elbows and hover. Inhale, roll over your toes, reach your heart forward. Gently raise the head, look towards your nose. Exhale, again, roll over your toes and reach your seat towards the sky. 5 breaths here. Spread your toes and fingers, distribute the weight evenly. 1, 2, deep breaths. 3, 4, and 5. Bend your knees at the end of the exhale. Look forward with your inhalation. Bunny hop forward. Come to lengthen and look up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, raise up towards the ceiling. Palms touch, look up. Exhale, back to 0, Samastitihi. You can repeat Surya Namaskara A about 5 times. And then just sit down, take a couple of breaths. Feel the sit bones grounding on the earth. Thank you so very much for practicing. Namaste.
Thanks, Barbara. That was a great sun salutation. Well, almost live.
It is almost over.
But if you missed part of the show, never fear. You can catch us every day, morning, noon, and night on cable channel 12.
And if you don't have that cable channel, then you can go on YouTube and subscribe to Telluride TV there or catch us on Facebook.
See you next time.